Did you know that by doing just one exercise, you can burn off that stubborn belly fat for good? Having coached hundreds of guys over the last 8 years as a personal trainer, I've seen firsthand how this can change people's lives. In this video, I'll reveal the ultimate exercise that transforms your body faster than anything else. And I'll show you a simple trick to get your weight moving downward in the next 5 days so you don't get frustrated by a lack of progress and then give up. To start, let me show you how to specifically melt that chunk of fat that hangs onto your lower belly. Imagine all the water in this bucket represents the fat on your body. If I try to take water out of a specific area of this bucket, it just refills from the other areas. No matter where I scoop from, the water will always return to level. And that's exactly how your body works. It has a predetermined pattern of how it stores fat on your body that you can't change. And that's why you don't have a super fat big toe. At least, I hope you don't. Now, some parts of your body, like your lower back and your lower belly, will be the last place that your body wants to give up its body fat. But the good news is, no matter how stubbornly your body holds on to fat in any area, if we get rid of enough fat overall from your body, it will eventually have to give it up. But how do you do that? Well, let me show you. Here's a powerful way to think about reducing your belly fat that helped my client Roy go from 310 pounds to 260 pounds in just under 4 months in our coaching program. Imagine Luke and Yoda are both out in the forest and they're trying to build their own fires. You can think of the fire as your body's fat burning furnace. The bigger and the hotter that fire grows, the more fat you're burning. The only problem is that it's pouring rain outside. Luke decides he wants to collect more wood, strike more matches, but no matter what he does, his fire just always goes out. Instead, Yoda puts a tarp up over his fire so it can burn freely without getting wet. Most people are using the Luke approach to losing fat. They're just frantically working harder and trying a bunch of new things, but not seeing the results they want. They do more exercise, they look for different supplements, but they're ignoring the bigger problem at hand, which is the rain. The rain is your food intake. But how can you control your food intake to get your fat burning fire raging? Here's what you need to know. Even if you're running every morning and doing all the workouts your schedule allows, you won't burn a meaningful amount of fat until you can control your calorie intake. So let's break down how you can do this step by step. This will build awareness around your food choices and help you lose fat so much easier. Just download a nutrition tracking app. My personal favorite is Macro Factor. You can use code Marra to get a 2-week free trial, but MyFitnessPal, Chronometer, Lose It, those will all work. You don't even need to set a calorie target just yet. Just start keeping a running diary of which foods you ate and how much of them you ate and enter them into the app every day. Just be as transparent and inclusive as possible here. There's no point in underreporting your food or leaving things out. You don't need to impress anybody. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. Now, if you really want to take this seriously, use a food scale to weigh out what you're about to eat whenever possible. You will be shocked by some of the calorie values in foods you never even expected. But that's a good thing. At least you'll know now instead of just being frustrated without knowing why you're not losing weight even though you're eating healthy. Once you've got 3 solid days of food logging under your belt, tell the app that you want to lose fat and it'll spit out a calorie target for you to start hitting that'll help you start losing weight. Now, most people get stuck here because they don't know how much weight they need to lose, they don't know how long it's gonna take, and they just don't know if they're even on the right track in the first place. But when you do this next step, it makes it so you don't have to worry about any of that. To help you understand, let me tell you a quick story. My girlfriend Jay got an incredible job offer to work here in Western Canada while she was still living in Eastern Canada. And for those of you who don't know, Canada's a big place, and driving across means you have to avoid moose and igloos and flying hockey pucks. So she hopped in her car and turned on Google Maps, but before she started driving, she realized that she didn't know the exact address of the office she was supposed to go to. So she simply typed in Vancouver, which is the nearest city to us, and she started driving west. After 3 days on the road, the company finally got back to her and gave her the exact address, which she was able to punch into Google Maps and finish the rest of the drive. Now you might be wondering, how is this gonna help me get a flat stomach? Well, just like her, you don't need to know every single detail and how long it's gonna take you to start moving in the right direction. What matters is that you're doing something. So just ask yourself today, do I want to be leaner than I am right now? If the answer is yes, start tracking your body weight every day, first thing in the morning, no food, no clothing, no water, right after using the bathroom. That way you can be sure that the scale is moving downward week after week. If you're particularly focused on reducing your waistline, then measure around your belly button using a tape measure once every 2 weeks. I like to do this by looking in the mirror so I can be sure that the tape measure is nice and flat. I take a big breath in, exhale, and just relax, and I take my measurement. And then you can keep track of this in a spreadsheet or just in the Notes app on your phone. Then every 2 weeks, just revisit your question. Do I still want to be leaner? And just like with Jay's journey, as you make progress and you get closer to your destination, the path will become much clearer. You'll quickly start to see how much further you need to go in order to hit your goal. Now that you know how fat loss really works, let me show you the exercise that'll make the biggest visual impact on your body long term. To prove this point, let me show you a younger version of myself. I was unhappy with my body and I had no self-confidence, so I decided to lose 50 pounds, but it didn't really work. As you can see, even though I wasn't carrying a ton of body fat, I still have this little pooch that was kind of hanging around my lower belly fat area. And that frustrated me because I worked my ass off to lose that weight. I did calorie tracking, I did sprinting, I hit my step goal. And even after losing all this weight, I just wasn't happy with my body. And even worse, I ended up regaining a bunch of the weight that I lost, and I was really close to giving up. So I decided to change up what I was doing with my food and my workouts, and for one summer, I focused only on building as much muscle and getting as strong as possible. And by bringing muscle growth back into my focus, I've been able to completely transform my physique long term. But it wasn't just about the looks. I learned an important lesson that losing body weight and losing body fat can only take you so far. A bit of extra belly fat doesn't really look all that noticeable either when you have a lot of muscle everywhere else. Here I am about 20 pounds heavier, and that's crazy to even imagine, but 9 years later, and I've had a far easier time maintaining a lean physique ever since. But how can you start building muscle without messing with your main goal of losing fat? You definitely need to keep doing the #1 exercise for losing fat, which is food logging. That's gonna keep your body weight and body fat moving downward. But after that, you can start lifting weights to build more muscle by following these steps. Step 1 is to find a basic resistance training program that fits your schedule. Even 2 or 3 30-minute workouts per week can show you huge visual changes if you do them consistently. And that's exactly what I've been using with the guys in our group fat loss program that you can learn more about by clicking the link in the description box. Step 2 is to get stronger over time on a few basic exercises. When you go to lift weights, don't change up your program all the time. Just stick to a few exercises that you enjoy and aim to add a little bit of weight or some reps every time you go into the gym, or even better, a combination of the two. Step 3 is to make every set count. It does not matter how many sets or exercises you do. If you are not pushing your sets hard, close to the point where you could not do another quality rep at the end of your set, you're leaving gains on the table. The thing is, even though you now know how to build muscle and lose fat, there's one sneaky thing you need to look out for, because if you don't, it doesn't matter how amazing your diet or workout is, they still won't work. So watch this video next, where I'll show you how to keep your metabolism cranked up so you can get lean without having to starve yourself.